One does. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's the April 15th, 2026 regular monthly meeting. And we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Caroline, can you do the roll call to establish our quorum?
Person Janet Quinn,
Here.
Merle Toussaint,
Here.
Mike Smith,
Here.
Greg Park.
Here.
And Dick Stevens out of town. We have the minutes to review. I know I need a couple more minutes just to take another look. Only comment I have on the Shaw Harbor one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines down about the takeaways from research. Number 1, no deed restrictions creating, you can strike out the word minor, just the no subject, it doesn't matter. There's no restrictions about subdividing. That's the only suggestion I have. Leave anybody on Zoom. Any additional comments on the minutes? Make a motion to approve the minutes with that one minor change.
Second it.
Greg? All in favor? Aye.
Aye. I'll abstain just because I wasn't here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was a good experience. Okay, under old business, an application from last summer, 2505, Jane Shi. It was a site plan application to paint some of the masonry and signage at the bubble tea business and improvements to the side patio. And all those items were eventually approved. The applicant approval is good through the summer. And she has asked that we amend it. The application for the patio, in addition to putting in pavers where there are not pavers to match the existing, she wanted to make the concrete wall that's there. She wanted to add pavers to that. She called them rocks, but pavers to make a stone wall similar to what's on the adjacent property. Now, for safety reasons, she'd like to change that to a metal fence. That would match the metal fencing in the front. It's a gate with the pavers. And the reason is thinking kids or people might be inclined to walk on the rock wall or sit, and it could be a safety hazard, so it's just better to make it what she's proposing. So the fence would match the basic design of the existing metal gate. And
And the fence would be on top of that wall.
yes,
So they'd remove the logs and.
yep,
Yeah.
the wooden, yeah.
Yeah.
And those were kind of shaky anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, and I think last year there might have been a kid climbing on them and it worried them that,
Yeah, that should look nice.
yeah. So we thought we should have a public hearing since we're amending a previously patio. So I'd like to open the public hearing. With no comments, we'll close the hearing. No, nobody on Zoom, nobody present. I feel like we have enough information from the previous application showing the patio as is, where they will put the pavers. And then the type of fence that exists, and then an image with the fence added to the concrete wall. And I checked, our approval was with a condition that the wall is on her property. So I would say if we amend it, approve the fence, the metal fence on top of the wall, that same condition holds, that it's acceptable to us, provided it's on her property. And she is available by phone should we have any questions this evening.
And we've already considered this a complete application before,
Yeah.
if I remember.
We did, you're right. So now it's with the one item we're changing.
The wall to a metal fence.
Right, so I mean, we could say we have what we need to review the amendment. I don't know if we have to, but we could state that.
So can I make a motion? I'd like to make a motion that we approve the application with the amendment, with the condition that it is within her property line or on her property line.
Right.
Or on her, I want
Yeah.
to say on the line, I want to say
On her property.
on the property.
I second, I think.
Thank you. Thank you, Craig and Merle, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we're good on that. Does she need a new zoning permit?
No, it's an ongoing thing, so it'll go with the year that she has on the existing one.
Yeah. Speaking of that kind of thing, I did get a message or phone call or something from Jody and Adam Deans, and we approved a bunch of exterior renovations of the house down the street, and including side and back porch modifications, and Jefferson County building codes wanted to see the porch added to the zoning permit. It wasn't written clear, or didn't say anything about the permit. It said windows, painting, doors, whatever it said. So Caroline and I checked. And we did review the porch modifications. So I went and got the permit from the contractor, brought it back. Caroline added that, put it back. That's the first we've had a modification that I'm familiar with. So anyway, okay, we're good on that one. Okay, next one. Is, 26-10 Great Lakes Realty for 110 West Main, basically what we all know as in Pan. And it's site plan review to replace an exterior door on the side of the structure to the patio. And the replacement door is metal, whereas the previous one was wooden. That property is in the village core and the historic overlay district. And we have a public hearing scheduled. Mike Campbell is here representing the applicant. Mike, would you like to explain anything more to us or bring the application to life?
Still the same building, right?
Yeah, same building, just the side by the bar.
So yeah, it's on the patio side of the building. There's a few more pictures for you.
I remember when they ran it almost as like a separate,
There's-
110 West Main as like a
I got it.
separate.
It's the same.
Oh, yeah, like upstairs.
Yeah.
Where they bring the, no. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, or you go in and use the restroom,
Yeah,
that side door.
nice up there.
Well, I represent Walter and Berlin Goddard, owners. Walter wasn't aware or didn't understand that he had to have a permit before he did the work. So looking down, that is where you're seeing the before and after pictures.
So on the left is what was there.
What was the?
Pretty clever,
Apologize. Oh, what's that?
pretty clever picture.
Thank you, because it's laying on the ground.
Yeah.
I could see. That's-
Anyway, the door that was there was made out of 2x6 and painted. And was riding on the bottom and was probably in the neighborhood of 150 pounds. Incredibly heavy door, and it became just such a burden to open and close every day. But he just decided to solve this problem.
I can't picture is it, so is it like the far right of the building?
If you look at the last picture attached there,
Oh, is that?
it's from the
Yeah.
patio. and you can-
Oh, okay.
Where they bring the food out.
Yeah, I got you. I was thinking it was on the street front.
No, it's on the side.
Was that a really old door?
I can't tell, but you can look at the picture.
I mean, it looks like it was a,
It's made out of 2x6s.
right.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so you can see on the.
From the USS Jefferson.
I know, it looks like it's, they ought to
When you
sit,
look at one profile, where the rod is,
Yeah.
you can see clearly it's 2x6s. And yeah, I don't think it's that old, but I think the unique thing about the door with the hinges,
yes.
can't argue the hinges were pretty nice.
They could, what's that?
I think
It looks like somebody.
They could find a place to put it on the wall, just as a feature.
You're gonna have to build the wall to put it on. Somebody that thing's heavy. I couldn't lift it, that's why I had to manipulate.
So they changed the opening somewhat.
The opening has changed. It's gotten smaller.
Oh, smaller, yeah.
The opening in the brick. The door, believe it or not, is exactly the same size.
Really?
So then,
Photograph, don't let the photograph deceive you. I measured it myself, but it's exactly the same size.
so the door's the same, but you had to fill in wood around it?
Because of the frame.
The
that held
framing.
That door up.
Yeah.
So will that be cleaned up,
Yes, it'd be
painted.
a flat, it would be a flat, trim.
Trim.
Just like what you see in the old door.
Yeah.
The old door had a flat.
Yeah.
You didn't really know, so. Oh, that's right, being recorded.
We can watch it over and over and over.
That'd be so.
One time I said, somebody was telling me, well, it's on the video. I said, I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, they're online. I said, oh, I hope I didn't roll my eyes. And I said, oh, it was better than that. You went like this. Like, oh,
Oh, well, took the mystery out of it.
okay. Anyway, I don't think it was one of your projects. So thank you for that introduction. We should do the seeker review. There were just a couple little things I found on page 2. Wait, got the wrong form. Can give this to you, Caroline. Page 2, we are in a local waterfront revitalization program, so I checked yes. And then, page 9, about the area of the property disturbance, I just said less than 1 acre is the total with the roads and buildings, and that's not gonna change. And then, page 13, it is in a National Register district, 1812 military history. So I made those additions. And then, with it being a door, no site disturbance, it seems reasonable to say that there would be no significant adverse impact on the environment. So I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Thank you, Earl. All in favor? Aye. Okay. We have a public hearing scheduled. Open the hearing. Anybody on Zoom for this one? An open door. With no comments, we'll close the hearing. Okay, discussion.
This fall, does this door, isn't, I know how we do it with windows, like there's approved windows, is this,
Yeah, what,
that's a question, I'm not
well,
sure.
the part of it is if the applicant came to us and said, I want to do this, and we have approved this type of door, Jim can approve it without it being reviewed, because it's simple one. But in this case, the door's in, and so there's no pre-approval eliminating the process here. Although I think it is part of our discussion. It's like, oh, we've approved this door before. But it doesn't mean we can't discuss it. You know, might not be, an approved door might be great on one structure, but not on another. So it's not a, oh, this door's been approved, so any place in Sag Harbor it can be put in. So that's a long answer to your question.
Considered a 4-panel door. Is that what they call these doors?
Raised again,
Yeah,
raised.
raised pan. That's it.
I did notice recently the Union Hotel with all of their window work put in a new front door, and it's similarly styled. And my first thought when I saw it was like, whew, I don't know if that fits there. And I don't even recall what was on there as a door. I don't think it had a window. Maybe it did. Do you remember the front door? But it's a metal door. Looks, has a little window, not exactly the same, but like that's a building that's done 2 new roofs and all this fine masonry work and New York State Historic Preservation's calling the shots on that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Craig. If it's on the pre-approved list, but it seems significantly different than what was there, I'd probably refer to the planning board anyway, so that you could make the determination if it fit that building. You
So,
need to do that with some of the historic structures.
so this is significantly different, but we're reviewing it anyway.
Well, you're reviewing this.
Right. So it's, I mean, yes. I personally like the old door, but it's rough.
So that's my challenge, is trying to differentiate my opinion,
Right.
which is worth nothing or something. Um, And I don't. That's a really cool building.
On Main
I know that's a really professional description, right? I get it, but it's a really beautiful building with beautiful architecture and beautiful history, and it looks aesthetically pleasing. And Andy got it. And it, with that type of style. And it's really hard for me to look at this next door and say, oh yeah, that's great improvement.
It fits.
It's really, and
What would be the alternative?
something that's architecturally similar to something specific to the building. And I'm not saying that it's
You would have to have constructed.
maybe, or maybe not, depending on what's out there. Like, I don't know. I don't shop for doors often enough to know, what's built. And I'm not suggesting that he change it. Yes.
But you want to discuss it.
But I wish, and I know he didn't know, that, he needed to apply it, but because we would have been here, we would have talked about it, but maybe kind of steered him towards a little bit different style door that might fit aesthetically. It's really aesthetically.
Well,
Building. It's instead of I don't know what this costs, but if,
Trying to think what the front door looks like.
Yeah, so there's two other doors in the front of the building.
Yeah.
I think the door is like a polo, it's glass front,
It's glass.
old also.
It's just, if I may, and, I know this is recorded and, all that sort of stuff, but it's just a little bit disappointing. I can't help but see it and think, you're taking away from the aesthetic of the building.
Well, with that thought and your expression of viewpoint, I have to say, recently with the Shaw Harbor hearings and the public distress, not only about the lots and being subdivided, but opening the door to new construction and people pointing our attention to the fact that that's a very old core part of our community. And I said something like, well, across the street are newer houses. And they're like, well, you can tell they're new. There's a few new, relatively speaking, but they don't look like the other old houses. And I'd hate to, that they were saying, we'd hate to see more new outweigh the integrity of what's there. And we said, well, the site plan review can take place. Well, that's got its results, and it was brought up the Lake View subdivision. We said that that's subject to New York State Historic Preservation Review, but I have to say, with very mixed results. And I couldn't tell you how many people have said, what the heck's going on down there? I thought you were old. Requirements for new building to match the old. And it doesn't match the old at all, being very critical of us for not holding to a higher standard. And I've said, well, it's pretty hard because we don't have specific, but it did make me think overall, we tend to yield to saying, well, it's not as good as we like, but it is wood and there was wood in 1800 and there is stonework and that's what their historic preservation said. And there is this and that, but when it's all said and done, they don't really blend in. And there are styles that could blend in more successfully. So I think to summarize all that is like, I feel like what you're saying is it could be a modern door, but it could fit the style of the building better than this.
Well, that's what I wish. And I know that nobody that has a door already installed wants to hear that. And I get it, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just like, okay, so we're gonna have a building that's potentially patchwork because,
Well, and we did ask for a door that was installed to be
on the laundromat.
on the lawn, and that was, I would say, more strikingly inconsistent with the style of the architecture.
And we did approve a deck 2 years ago,
A what?
a deck. Cover that patio. We approved that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but
Which
see,
would make the
that's,
store not as, if he built that, the store wouldn't really.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah,
but,
conscious
but
of vehicles.
I feel, and I don't recall the style but it's okay to build new on old. You can add to old buildings. And in fact, one of the guidelines is to make it very clear when you add on, you don't necessarily want to trick people and make them think it's all old. It's okay, but there's an art to blending design and materials and scale and rhythm and all that. And I feel like whatever Jason Berto designed for Tin Pan, I think that's who it was, we felt was a pretty good match, even though it had glass partitions like accordion. But the overall tone we felt was a good fit. And maybe it's more that this is one very visible old brick wall in a very contemporary style, traditional looking.
And we have a small village port.
Yeah.
And that building certainly stands out as something
Yeah.
to maintain as well.
All right. I'm hearing three of us have reservations about approving this as is. Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but I feel like that's kind of where we're talking to each other.
And the
about
more I look at it and think about it, I'm inclined to vote no, because and it's, you know, we're in this position on this board to carry forward certain responsibilities of maintaining aesthetics of the village, especially on what we don't have anymore of these old buildings. Like if this burned down tomorrow, which would be sad, but you know, so if you look at that last photo, you know, which shows the old door in its position, it's kind of muted a little bit, you know, as like a barn door, you know, like a side barn door. And then we're going to put a modern looking door there. And
I didn't think that old door was very attractive at all.
I'm not saying it was attractive or not, but it kind of fit the.
I don't think it fit either. You look at the front doors on Tin Pan, and then you go around to the side and you see that thing. Looks like a barn door.
Right, it does.
It's not. It's an opening to a kitchen.
Okay, so. I mean, we can
Both
modernize the whole
openings
side of the
interior
building.
Restaurant, it's not
Yeah.
just the kitchen.
What's that?
It's not just the kitchen that's opening to the restaurant.
Well, it's open to the restaurant, yeah,
Yeah.
but that's where the food comes out.
It's propped open when they're, I think, right, when they're
One
open for
space,
business.
people are in and out of it. too.
It's a dining room.
Dining room, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Are you gonna vote no or what?
Well, there's nothing to vote on right now. We haven't made a motion for anything, so.
right,
You made some kind of motion.
right. Well, he is expressing, I think he was expressing.
I'm just open for, like, this is helpful. Like you had a good point. I'm listening. I'm not just, you know, decided. I'm just trying to think through my opinion,
I
you
know
know.
what you're saying.
You know, what I would do if it was my building, but that doesn't matter because I don't own the building, right? But it would be a little
But if
different.
they were coming to us before they replaced the door, we might have had a different.
That's all,
discussion.
right, that would be,
That's part of what the,
yeah, and then how was that fair? If you would have come to me before, I'd have said no. Since you already put it on, well, okay. And to me, that's a very dangerous precedent. Because now it's easier to beg forgiveness than ask permission for everybody.
And I would add to that discussion, there's the incremental creep of erosion of the fabric here that we're talking about, and not just maybe on this building, maybe there are other changes in slated that we are not aware of. But if not this structure, or another one, I know Chrissy Beans is thinking about things with that building, and I know the mayor's got buildings that are in need of work. So an incremental door here or there that's not really in keeping over 5 years, sort of like gradually losing your eyesight. You don't realize how poorly you're seeing.
So Merle, I agree that that original door isn't really attractive, but that's kind of, to me, it's kind of the beauty of it because it's old looking,
Yeah,
you know, and
it blends in.
it's
Subtle.
It's
It
more,
did blend in.
I mean, that's all. I'm not,
Well, I'm comfortable with denying the request for the reasons are expressing, that it doesn't seem consistent with the architectural style of the structure. And if we had had an opportunity prior to work with the applicant, it's like, see what's out there. Look at photo. What was the door originally? Or is there a door that's, that,
it's modern, that's similar to what was there. Maybe you do want a window for light or something. That's fine, but
and this often is our dilemma of, like with the Whiskey Coop vestibule. It's like I don't know how to tell somebody to design it. I don't know
Right.
what kind of doors are out there, but I know something that doesn't strike me as a match or a fit. But what is better, I don't know. But that's not our position. We're not tasked with that. So I've let you know what I think on that.
Yeah, it would be nice to see the door, like the new door with the zoomed out view, because like you need to picture the whole aesthetic. And I mean, in my mind, it doesn't fit, but.
I wish I would have
Also
noticed.
probably a metal insulated door,
Right,
I assume, since it's an exterior door,
right.
which tries to protect the inside as well.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
the weather.
Yeah.
When it's cold, but I don't know, he would, what is this door like? It's probably $1,000 door.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere around that. It's
Yeah.
raised panel insulated metal door. Off the shelf.
Well, I think I'm comfortable with, based on the discussion we've had, this request that the applicant search for a door that meets the needs in terms of energy, keeping out winter, but is more in keeping with architectural structure.
That's transparent to us, right? I don't care if it's a hollow door or an insulated
Right.
door because that's.
Right.
But I feel like, as the more I think about it and talk about it is I like it less and less. Like, I just wish that, and I don't know if that even carries water, but
Well, it sure does.
I'm inclined now to vote no. Merle, so that's the answer for that. Merle asked me if I was gonna, yeah. If there, when it comes to a vote.
Mr. Chairman. I
Yeah.
know the Planning board doesn't like to be a design
Yeah,
entity. But if you look at the front of the building, there are 3 doors on the front of the building. Maybe if those you think are appropriate, at least you give the applicant directions.
Yeah. It'd be helpful.
oh, yeah,
1, 2, 3.
oh, yeah.
Walk by it every day.
I know.
I wish I would have noticed on the way here. I didn't pay attention.
110 and one upstairs. And one of the guidelines is rhythm and scale of the building. and there's a lot of vertical narrow to this building. Three doors in the front and the windows.
They have horizontal panels where this one has vertical. So
Yeah.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. They're, the imagery of the doors and the windows are all vertical with horizontal window panes, but I'm just saying it's a
Yeah.
tall, narrow sense of rhythm to the windows, and the doors match that. And I realize this is a different side of the building. Is there another door on the side? The side?
No.
I don't think so.
Just the bar.
not that the back of the building really matters.
Yeah.
No.
There's,
No, that's where there's
It's probably
all the coolers.
yeah.
can I see that?
Mhm.
Or you can look and then you can give it back to Jim.
Yeah, there you go. I'm hopeful.
I wish we had somebody on retainer, you know, that
Yeah.
was a historic expert that could
Like,
make recommendations for style
I
on
know.
things. Like,
Well, I think
This is
just
not
someone with an aesthetic
hard
eye to
expert.
say, with somebody that had go in the building with an aesthetic eye, and say, okay, what door would look good here? Not just, I need a door, let me go buy one that fits.
Well,
correct.
even,
There should be at least thought put into it.
even contractors like
Yeah, yeah.
Jamie Bray has built some houses and he has said, I want this house, like we approved the tear down of a house on Washington. He goes, when I build a house, I want people to look at that and say, is that 100 years old or is that new?
And the application would have a justification. I just chose this door because whatever, you know. So
Somebody like that might be able to say, oh, you know what you need there?
Yeah.
Well, so where are we with this? I know I've said I'm not in favor of approving the door as installed because it seems inconsistent with the architectural style of the building.
I don't, not comfortable approving it either.
I'm not either.
So I'll make a motion that we do not approve the application as with the door as installed for the sole reason that the door does not seem consistent with the architectural style of the structure, and it's in a prominent location.
And I'll second that.
Oh, thank you, Craig. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Can I abstain?
Sure.
Yeah.
I asked you a couple of questions. Now,
Sure.
Yeah.
so now that you have made a decision, you're not going to approve this application as, does that mean the obvious is that door's gotta go? You're telling me we have to tear that door up?
Basically,
Okay. Second, I know you're not a design agency, but my client is going to be full of questions like, well, what will they approve? I'm not gonna parade in here
Right.
with 5, 6.
so that's the
7,
purpose of
doors.
that's the purpose of the application process. As you know, Mike, I'm sorry, I don't mean to, you know this process, but, you know, and say, this is where, you know, I've consulted with X, Y, and Z or whomever, or no one, and I'd like to put this door in. And then we'll say yes or no, or,
Again, it's,
you know,
again, I'm going to just play the role of my client because I know my client. He's going to say, so I need to come there how many times to propose doors that could be shut
Right.
down every time? There's got to be some guidance to some direction.
right, and
They're
there,
saying, mine, historically, so I'm just going to throw this out here, Craig. What do you feel about a flat industrial metal door that's painted the same color that hunk of wood was?
it's,
That's the question.
I can't, I'm going to answer it. We can't answer that. It's not answerable. Because we just like we ask of every applicant, we need to see a sample, a picture, a photo, a mock-up, a drawing, some detail, not just saying, yeah, it needs to be a metal industrial door. That doesn't tell me anything,
The door like that.
but it's too much but Mike, yeah, but you know, I'll put that right back at you. There's so much interpretation of what that would be.
Take that hardware off.
Right, so that's what you're saying, like an industrial door.
Door that looks exactly like a flat commercial door, with no panes, no raised panels. It will look like that historic door, which was a hunk of wood. Now we're gonna replace it with a hunk of metal. And I'm not here to argue with it. I'm just saying, I have to have some answers for them, you know, that's only fair.
Right.
that go back
I
with
understand.
Recommendations.
Right.
I happen to agree with you, by the way. Serving on that planning board for how many years? I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
To go backward.
I just wish whatever it was, it doesn't have to be industrial, but something that was aesthetically matching to the building. And I think that we can agree that that's not.
Merle's point's right. Is that wood door, is that matching anything to that building? Everything else is glass.
Well, it looks rustic. That's the point with it.
Those doors you just showed me don't have anything to do with that type of,
Style. Yeah.
that slab of wood.
But if you like, if,
But if that's what you, if, let's say that man door on the front of the building, is that it? That kind of matches the building.
I think that would be a lot more aesthetic,
Yeah.
pleasing.
That's, okay.
you use the guidance.
Is there
There's some guidance.
any photo documentation of that building? Like, do anybody know, like, from before?
I've got some historic photos of it, but I can't get anything on that side because there was a fence. Back in the day, there was a fence that ran next to that building. I can't find any pictures of.
Dear Andy,
Well, you know,
What?
I'm gonna.
I can talk to Lenny, yeah.
Would be probably one of the best resources.
Andy will probably tell you, when he built that.
right, are you gonna ask him?
Well, I can, yeah, I could call.
I mean,
I don't think the goal is to go back to whatever it was, right?
No, but he might have some ideas.
But he might know what was there.
Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, I think Andy might have blown a hole in the wall and put the door there.
Oh, that's not probably
I
right.
would say you're probably right, because if you look at the mortar around that door, it's not that
Okay.
old.
Right.
Mhm.
And, you know, like you said, there was a fence there. I mean, I think it was kind of its own standalone property. And the patio area was like a different property, or maybe it was part of the property, but it wasn't used.
I've got pictures I've got actual pictures with me, because I'm
Interesting.
doing some postings.
Yeah.
Of, it back in the early 1960s and 50s.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he used 110 more than he did the patio way back.
What's that?
I think they used 110 more than they did the patio back then.
Yeah.
Since I've been here, yeah. I was more inside than ever outside.
But when they really developed the patio, you might put the door
I think he did, because
That would have made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have made sense.
Okay. And the glass it was there then. Just go to the next photo.
So here's the building.
No,
Scroll this way.
no, the other way.
Bad said.
Yeah,
That's the building?
that's the building. And there were two uses for that.
That's
building.
just what I.
Imagine us approving
This
that now.
was a grocery store at that point.
Look
but if
at
you-
that.
If you flip it back, it was a hotel. So
Yeah.
that was clearly where it said hotel right on the building.
Bus stop.
Well, I don't think you want a door that looks like that building. Well,
Well, it's got the big windows and the side doors there.
I'm sure, but the doors look like they've been replaced.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well, at this
Yeah.
point, you're trying to like match the
Make-
buildings.
I
Yeah.
wonder if they got a permit.
Yeah.
What I'm
Well, that's-
saying is there's no historical building to match to.
Right.
That was a,
Right, but we can match what's
But
already on
clearly the
building.
windows above are the ornate Italianate design, whatever it's called, and there's something that can be a fit, and then there's,
That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to match it to
Yeah,
anything
we
else.
need to go back to
I'm
19,
just
whatever.
trying to-
Right.
A door that looks aesthetically similar to what would be, what you'd expect to see on the side of that building.
which would be like the doors on the front.
Perhaps.
And
Yes.
Anything that's muted, I mean, honestly, this just really sticks out.
Yeah, and
Like,
It looks
I don't.
special on the
Yeah.
side. Looks like a Home Depot special on a side of a,
Yeah.
historic building.
And unlike Merle, I kind of like the old barn door look.
Yeah,
You know,
I love that.
I mean, it's
With those long hinges to hold the doors.
on the alley side, the garages, they're built with barn style.
Yeah, there is actually a lot of that in
There
that
is a
little
lot of
area.
that in that neighborhood, so I'm fine with something that's got that look. So if I had to choose this or that, oh, hands down that for me.
Right.
But,
I could show you, well, we can go down this rabbit hole for a while.
yeah,
The mortar around the brick opening is not that old. It does not match the older parts of the mortar.
so I bet you're right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway.
Okay.
I know.
And
So we're not trying to preserve the historical look of the building. We're trying to make it look more consistent with the existing.
Keep the rhythm.
That's my
that's
intent.
there.
that's the idea. I mean, we don't know what was there originally. And we know what the front of the building looks like. We know what the side looks like. So something that blends in more subtly than this. And I
With
would,
the existing building.
and like you were talking,
There was a solution I came up with, a laundromat, was put the old one back in.
yeah. And Mike, I think you were talking and it's like, if I had to vote, which one? I love that old barn door. There's a lot of barn in the alley. I mean, Andy's garage and the house he owned. No, I'm just saying, personally, if you were doing this or that, I would do this again. Take those hinges, get a new and make
Two by
it,
sixes and
make it energy tight.
Yeah.
Boom, everybody but the owner. And
Get a small crew of 5 or 6 guys.
but again, that's not my place to stay. But I also, if it looked like the doors on the front with some glass and it had that sort of vertical.
that might be a little bit more comfortable for him if he's got servers coming in and out to see through. Well, I think when he's open, he leaves that
That's
door
true.
open. Yeah.
Hazard.
I would serve that's the way they're coming in.
Okay. I think they leave it open when they're open. That door gets propped open.
And yeah,
Then you could, obviously you could do whatever on the interior for winterizing, just as long as you have something on the exterior
The
that.
whole plan here is just, it won't be opening in winter, but he is gonna try to stay open.
good. And in response to the, how many times does he have to come back? I would say come up with his idea, have him come up with his preference and shoot us and I know, well, plan B. Shoot us an email or a photo of the, a supplier image of it and get you to Photoshop it in or something so we know what it looks like before you go ahead and order it or,
Did we do like a quick huddle? Would that be like a quick email so that we don't have to wait a month? So we can, like, I'm open for that.
oh, you mean
You need like email pictures of it.
to
Yeah,
approve?
because he's planning on opening here in the next no longer, maybe next week he'll be open.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
That is.
Oh, well, another thing I was about to say was that the question, does the door have to go? I'm comfortable with saying, this is under discussion. You've got a door there. It's going to be cold and it's windy and rainy. Leave the door, but come up with the next plan.
Plan B means.
Right, and then
exchange the door for something
Sell the
different.
door to somebody else or whatever. Yeah, but don't rip it out this week or make a hasty decision just because. No, but I mean, Jim, are you okay?
All right, you're gonna get a hole to the outside, that's it.
Yeah.
But should there be a timeline with that or?
For keeping that door? Yeah.
I agree with you. We don't want to see you take it out. He's getting ready to open for business. He's got a door that works. So yeah, it's there, leave it, but we got to figure out the plan forward and what's the timeline? What's the expiration of that? Or, the suspense?
Well, how about before the next meeting, you get information to us on what he'd like to do. And if you have it earlier, great, send it. And I don't know if I don't think we can legally take action by email.
By email on something like that.
Right.
You could give them some direction.
But we often say, yeah, amongst ourselves, that looks good. We'll finalize the,
Do I email it to all of you?
yeah, or to
No,
the,
you don't. You can just email it to us. And
or to Caroline and she'll distribute it.
but we can,
Jim,
this is unorthodox and I'll shut up after this if you lie, but if you sent something, say it was this weekend, did some shopping and say, this is what we're gonna do, go with pending your approval. We can look at it and say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then if there's a window of opportunity for them to put it in,
that's a pun.
if there's a window, there's a door of opportunity to put it in, do it. And then we'll retroactively approve it, just like we're doing this, to keep to help assist with
I see.
his business schedule.
It's a little dangerous, I suppose, but.
Yeah.
But,
I'm just trying to,
you know, if you've got a pretty good consensus on your board that it's going to pass, if they were to change the door out, I'm not gonna stop them.
Yeah.
It's still subject to your final vote, so it's at his.
But we
risk.
would,
But at least he's going with.
we would,
we can legally catch up on the
Yeah,
official approval at the next meeting.
still, you know, like I said, still, it's at the applicant's risk of doing that.
that suddenly
Because it could be
somebody
mine,
goes,
That's true.
you're giving them.
but I personally wouldn't do that if I would tell you, I still don't think Plan B is good. I want to see C. I don't know what the others think, but that's my, I would tell you straight up and I wouldn't say yes and then change my mind later.
Yeah, I would.
You never.
Yeah.
Always be consistent.
Hmm.
I know, that's a positive. That's very positive.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
All right. And I look forward to the restaurant being open
Looking forward to the blue tarp
and,
being removed.
and the interior changes, whatever they have been. I've looked in the window when I'm out with my dog.
New bar, new place, new make.
Yeah.
New lighting.
So
new kitchen.
somehow in this express appreciation for all that effort and investment in the community, this one door, I don't want it to be
You
representative.
want me to soften this up?
Yeah.
I'm acknowledging
There
the
you go.
awareness of that. This just happens to be the thing that's on the outside that
Okay.
thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Okay. New business 26-12, Jane Shi, Jefferson Street. Site plan review to construct a sunroom/greenhouse attached to the rear of the residence. This we are not going to review. It turns out there's considerable confusion about this, combined with Jim being out of town and me texting him about and blah, 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 and communicating with the applicant. That neighborhood is not in the historic district, which I had forgotten, which always surprises me because it's right in line with the battlefield.
Yeah.
And Jim said, oh, I can approve it being in the village residential. And, but there were questions about the area dimensions. And so for a few days it was like an area variance would be needed, but all that was resolved. So we don't need to review it and her approval's been granted, correct? So that's, even though we have a hearing, we don't need to hold it. Were you here for that hearing by any chance? Okay.
Great.
Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. 17 text messages later.
I try to look at things on phones.
Shades
You know,
of
dimensions, looking at dimensions.
bubble tree signage or bubble tea signage last year. The, what did we call it? The teddy bear or all those, remember that in that
I remember.
discussion?
That was a big discussion.
Kitty peeking.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you have something you want to?
Oh, good.
That's great. Wish we could offer you a snack or beverage.
I'd look at the difference from now to the last month. It was standing room.
A good one.
Were you here last? Yeah.
You were here for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when I came to just see how this all looked.
That was your first one?
And I was like, okay, I need to come back.
That's right. And your name is Mark. Yep.
No relation to.
Relation to the, any of the other Smiths in the village?
No.
Okay.
My family's from Lewis County.
Okay.
My in-laws live here. They've been like, what, 5th generation? I think my kids are 6th generation.
Townsend.
Yeah.
Luke and Ally and
Greg is my father.
Oh, okay.
You guys don't
Okay.
Janet?
Yeah.
I think procedurally, you could have handled the vote on Tin Pan a little differently. You could have asked, is anybody making a motion to approve it? If nobody made the motion, it's automatically denied. You didn't have to vote to deny it. It's.
Oh, I see.
True.
Affirmation.
That's true.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Where were you an hour
But-
ago?
But on the other hand, I think it was deliberate. I think I just didn't think about that, but it's more overtly explained by, I don't like this.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, right? You got the point across.
The
I got
point
no
of, the
problem.
point of the vote, I completely agree. The point of, or there's the benefit, I should say, the point, a benefit of doing a vote like we did it is that it allows the applicant to hear rationale, discussion and rationale behind the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I heard that technique or saw that technique on the village board. There was something in the last meeting or two. Nobody advanced an idea, so there it's at.
Although on the village board, what was it? Greg seconded something, what was it? It was weird, just to, or made a motion just to move it along or something. And
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
it was.
Last night or
The
last
previous.
month?
Previous one.
Yeah, previous.
Okay, so I think that's it. And just under an hour.
Okay.
You know, I hate this up, but when you're trying to deal with someone who's getting it denied, and the reason is because they didn't follow the procedure properly. Everyone's supposed to know the procedure. They've got me as a resource to ask questions of whether they can answer something. The zoning board of appeals uses a term quite often that you folks could use too. It's a self-imposed hardship.
So this highlighted, again, it's been several times since I've sat on the board where we get an applicant that for whatever reason claims to not know that he or she is supposed to do it or provide an application for anything. That building in particular, because of its stature or, whatever, prominence in the village, it's shocking, but I don't know what the fix is.
You don't, I mean, any law, you don't get the excuse of being ignorant to the law. Like, it's just not an excuse. Like any fish and game law, you can't be like, didn't know.
Didn't know I couldn't
Like,
shoot it.
Any of them.
Yeah,
Like,
but I don't know if, I agree, I
and
completely
being in
agree
a
with
historic
you.
district especially, like people,
Well,
being on Main Street, you have to know. You're in a
and
historic
there's-
building, you
there's
have to.
situations- I had two situations recently, and this was one of them. The applicant has applied before in the past and has gone through the process and should have kind of an understanding that exterior changes in the historic district require a permit.
Wasn't it Dr. Doddard that did the application for the extensive renovation?
Well,
Right.
and his architect.
Well, I know, but he was it was his project, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And I had another one recently. Someone was approved for placement of a structure. And then a year later, they moved the structure.
Hmm.
And they're surprised that the village, is looking for an application. They also enlarged the structure. So it's like, now it gets a whole new, issue of setbacks. Neighbors, things like that. But how you educate the public, I'm not sure.
Well, and I think honestly, sometimes it's selective forgetting.
Well, I almost think
Fair
it could
enough.
be, I almost think, I don't know how to do this. I'm really good at I'm a good idea fairy, If someone buys property, and they go, make not a deed restriction, but a note on the deed when they go to closing. Hey, this is, or they do the deed search before they even get to closing. This is a historic preservation, area or a historic district of a village. Bylaws apply. Any exterior work needs to be, considered for.
But yeah, I mean, like,
Where you're not restricting anybody. You're just as a little asterisk on their deed.
And another,
We've never made any, well, I can't remember ever making anybody other than that lot between Bill Studley and Tom Holman, where we'd made anybody change something.
what
If
did we
they
make them
violated-
change there?
Huh?
What did we change there? I don't remember.
Oh, when they proposed a house that was gonna violate the setbacks and the height.
Oh.
And
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were talking about a deed.
we've never made, if somebody violated something, we never made them change it.
I think that we should.
You changed the laundromat door, you changed the.
We changed the laundry. Did we change that house across the street? That's violating the setback on the left side? That's a clear violation of the setback, and I don't care how long it is, it's a clear violation.
And are you trying to do the name of the person?
Yeah,
like next to Tin Pan, are you talking about?
No,
Yeah.
right, or
Yeah.
right across the
with the
street.
addition that was put on that house across the street, it violates the setback on one side,
I forget the
some
name.
of it.
Oh. Talk about,
Yes,
like next to the
right.
deans and,
The Deans.
well,
No,
Dean's addition.
no, we didn't pursue a change because it was.
Oh.
It was done by accident and it was 6 inches. 7 inches, maybe.
Or
And they didn't, the property owner that was being violated didn't pursue it. So,
They stopped pursuing it.
right, so I think that's a big
And
difference.
but we've definitely established a precedent and you can't say what happened years ago but we're trying to correct those wrongs, I would say. At
Right.
least I haven't been here that long.
village planning that, sorry.
But I was just saying, like, it's just been a recurring thing. I didn't know, and I put this in,
Well, look
and
at
like we've started turning back on that.
Semais's place, it's 5 feet higher than it's supposed to be, right? The
Which one?
townhouses that are.
Oh, well, that was debated.
Yeah, and the thing is, they were required by county codes to make a change in the roof pitch.
Mhm.
And that changed the height of the building. And it was like, no one really knew where to measure from.
Mhm.
And they built it, and then after the fact, did measurements and realized that we're over, I'm not sure it was 5 feet, but it was
I don't know, I tried.
It's 3.
3 to 5 feet.
But
Yeah.
the takeaway from the village or the visioning board the visioning committee that's happening the last, several weeks, right? Is it seems like there's been almost every group, when we had that big working group, is asking for stronger code enforcement. I know I'm looking at you, Jim, I'm putting you on the spot, but they're asking for, hey, we need to get these codes, whatever those codes are to, I think my table did, it was a couple on a few people's white paper. I noticed,
I'm often accused of selective enforcement
Mhm.
or no enforcement. And a lot of times, I always try to go for voluntary compliance. I don't want to cite someone with something.
Hmm.
But just for your edification, it was about 2 or 3 years ago. It was a real push that there was a bunch of people that were just kind of flagrantly
Mhm.
sticking their nose up at the village and violating the law. So I put 5 cases before town court. I can't really say that the village saw a satisfactory relations. Any different than me trying to get voluntary compliance.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
So anyway, I wasn't trying to put you on the spot, Jim. I'm just trying to, in conversation,
Well, in this case, the
It's
door,
frustrating for me,
the door is installed, and if he had come before, it's sort of like we can't design, but we could work with the person and
like we did with Miss Shea or she, I'm not
Yeah.
mispronounce her name, but we tried to kind of help help her with what.
Right.
Because she was confused, and overwhelmed, or should say confused,
Yeah.
overwhelmed with. Right.
Detail.
But just giving some guidance, like, you look at the other doors on tin pan and the panels are horizontal, the windows are vertical.
But
Clue you into what.
Right.
the door might-
at the same sense, it's frustrating if we have to, right? I shouldn't have to.
Right.
I should be.
Spend an hour tonight scrolling,
Right.
finding some doors.
But on the other hand, we haven't made other places look historical.
We've tried.
For example, the place between Renzi's house and the boathouse.
I used to live there. Johnson's old. Mr. Johnson used to own that. Yeah.
Oh, but we didn't approve anything on that.
No, we didn't.
But
All
we
can do-
can't
all
go
we
up
can handle
to-
a planning board.
No, but they didn't apply to do anything.
No, they didn't.
But we can't
But
say,
it's
hey, your
existing.
building is, right, but
All we can
until.
control is what gets put in front of us and what
Right.
gets caught in the near term.
So
Like, you
those,
can't go back years on something and.
Yeah.
I'm saying if we have reasonable zoning laws, we would.
But you also, like, there's a thing called vested rights.
Yeah.
If someone, like, a lot of that building probably was configured, and cited or whatever you think is inappropriate, was done prior to the existence of zoning.
that's what I think, or
So
this,
they have vested rights, they can continue to use that and have it that way unless the village writes some kind of specific rule that says we can make you change it.
which that wouldn't go over very well here because lots of reasons, financial, knock high. We want you to rip off that siding. We can't go up and tell people to do that, only if they say, well, our siding's rotten, we want to redo it. Then, or they want to put in windows that don't match.
I think that's what those people were talking about, to put the petition in
Right,
regarding the
right. But
subdivision.
a newer home is gonna look new for the most part, but I contend there are places you can go, you can still build a house for very similar cost, no doubt, but make it look traditional
Yeah,
in that neighborhood.
And I also say the way that our historic district is
Yeah.
drawn
Yeah,
purposely to go around certain houses
Yeah.
and it's not like just one big square.
right.
Like we're blended in
Yeah.
and I don't think that is changing the character
No.
that much of the town.
We have 1950s ranch houses on Main Street right before the battlefield. It's like but what to the block around Hamilton and your street, neighbors would work.
what I'm talking about is consistency in this case of our village and Main Street. And here we are talking about, well, it was referred to last night at the meeting, but they didn't want to say it. I guess somebody was afraid to say the word tent. Because they were talking about it,
Oh, temporary structures.
temporary structures. So we've got a tent down there that's beside a building that doesn't look very good.
Right.
And yet there's nothing we can do about it, I guess.
You've approved a special.
Yeah, it's
permit for that
we
tent.
went through a process that's in place. I
We
mean.
did.
For
Well,
the,
we gave them 1 year and made it pretty clear that unless the zoning laws had changed, we aren't gonna let them have the tent next year.
right.
Well, I mean, that's what you can do.
Right.
That's what the village. can
But not anything about the building next door until they want.
Anything about the building next door,
I see
it looks
your
crappy.
point, Merle, where you're saying the village is complaining about this tent on a business that's trying to stay open versus we've got a decrepit, falling apart, ugly looking building next door to it. I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
But
There's nothing we can do about that.
I know.
And let it just decay on itself.
The only thing that we really can do is if it became dangerous, let's say,
and
then we can step in.
What, not to change when you have a structure or a building or something in the historic village, I can't think of an analogy that won't get, I just have to tell you what I'm thinking. Remember the archway that used to be at Tin Pan to enter the masonry
Mhm.
arch? and you'd enter the secret garden through that arch.
Oh,
And then,
yeah.
and it collapsed because of happened right around the time it collapsed. I saw it.
I think
You know, it was
Jeff
on the
Irwin
ground.
did that.
He did.
Yeah.
And now it's flower pots on each of those pillars.
Yeah.
And I guess that's another thing that we don't have control over, right? Like we can't be like,
You have to rebuild it.
yeah,
Yeah.
because, and that was my first, oh, that's unfortunate because that was so cool.
Yeah.
You know, now we've got funeral or ash urns sitting on top of, you know, like. I'm sorry. I know that we're still in session. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I just didn't know if there's anything like, all right, that fell, it's unfortunate, but you gotta put it back. Or is it just gone forever? Like, is something just,
Or losing, the cantina.
Yeah.
And now we have an empty lot.
the anchor, yeah, that's unfortunate too.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We can't make somebody build something, right?
I don't have the money. I can't do it, you know?
What if that's all a boat?
Well, I make a motion to close the
Yeah.
meeting.
I think that was.
So we can keep the conversation going, but I'll second the
All
motion.
right. All in favor? Aye.
Go to Goodfellas and continue the conversation.
added 15 minutes to your.
It